Welcome back to our channel World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln pennies, coin that are most valuable than you think. Don't spend one of them, you're lucky if you have one of these. So please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this top one today. We're diving deep into a coin that's packed with history and mystery. The United States 1-cent coin from 1960. This little piece of currency may seem unassuming at first, but trust me, it's got a story to tell and could be worth way more than you think. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a fascinating journey into the world of rare coins. Now when you hear about a 1-cent coin, you might be thinking it's just a penny. What's so special about it? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. This specific 1961 -1 coin is one of the most sought after pennies in the world, and I'm going to show you exactly why. First, let's take a step back and talk about the context of the 1960s. The United States was in a period of great change, with the country navigating political shifts, civil rights movements, and the space race. Coins from this era carried the echoes of that transformative time. The 1960 penny is no exception. It was produced during a time of economic growth, but also during a period of uncertainty in the coinage system. In 1960, the U.S. Mint decided to make a small but significant change in the way it produced pennies. The 1961 cent coin was struck using a copper alloy, which was slightly different from the alloy used in the previous years. This resulted in coins that were minted with slightly varying characteristics, making them unique. But the real mystery comes into play when we look at some of the rare errors that occurred during production. These minting mistakes are what make this coin such a hot commodity for collectors today. Point one of the main reasons collectors are so interested in the 1960 penny is because of the double die error that occurred during the minting process. A double die error happens when a coin is struck twice by the die, which causes the design to appear double or slightly offset. It's not a common occurrence, but when it does happen, it creates a flaw that collectors love. These double die errors are extremely valuable because they are incredibly rare and make the coin stand out from the rest of the pack. And that's not all. There are also small date and large date variations from 1960. You see, in 1960, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with different date sizes. Some of the coins from this year feature a small date, while others feature a large date. It might sound subtle, but to collectors, these differences are significant. The small date 1960 penny is especially sought after, as it was minted in fewer numbers, making it harder to find today. But here's the twist: there's a particular 1960 small date penny that has become legendary in the coin collecting world. Why, you ask? Well, in 1960, the Mint struck a small date penny with an error that resulted in a very rare and unique version of the coin. This error involved the die being misaligned, causing a noticeable offset of the date. Coins with this specific error are incredibly valuable and can fetch a small fortune. If you happen to find one that is zero now, you might be wondering, how much could a 1960 penny like this actually be worth? Well, the value of this coin depends on a few key factors. Most importantly, its condition and whether it has any rare minting errors or variations. If you're holding onto a well-preserved, uncirculated 1960 small date penny, especially one with a rare double die or misaligned die error, you might just have a small treasure in your hands. But here's the kicker: coins with the most rare errors have been known to sell for huge amounts of money. Hold on to your seats, because the price for a single 1961 cent coin in mint condition with the right error can reach an astounding $70,000. That's right, a penny that was once worth just 1 cent could now fetch $70,000. If you happen to have one in the right condition with the minting error, just imagine that tiny little coin you've got sitting in your jar or coin collection could be worth a fortune. It's not every day that a coin like this pops up, so if you've got a 1960 penny lying around, make sure to check its condition and look for any signs of minting errors. You never know, you might be holding onto a small piece of history that's worth a lot more than you think. Coin collecting is all about hunting for hidden treasures, and the 1960 penny is just one example of how something as simple as a coin can become a valuable and fascinating part of history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your journey, always keep an eye out for those small details and rare errors that make a coin truly unique. Who knows, the next time you dig through your old coins, you could be looking at your next big find. Top 2, we're going to explore a coin that might just surprise you. Might look like any other coin from the early 60s, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. The United States 1-cent coin from 1961 was part of a fascinating era in American history. The country was still riding high on the post-World War II economic boom, and the nation was thriving in the middle of the space race and civil rights movements. These pennies were produced at a time when the world was changing rapidly, and these coins carry a bit of that transformative energy with them. But here's the thing when it comes to coins. Not all are created equal. Some are more than just pocket change. Some carry stories and hidden traits that can make them highly valuable. That's the case with the 1961 penny. Most of these coins were minted and circulated without any fanfare. However, there are a few rare exceptions, and those exceptions are exactly what make this coin so interesting. To collectors' point, one of the most fascinating things about the 1961 1-cent coin is the rarity of certain minting errors. You see, the US Mint was making a lot of coins in the 1960s, and sometimes mistakes were made during the production process. These mistakes, whether they were due to slight shifts in the die or minor flaws in the metal, created error coins that are highly sought after by numismatists. The 1961 penny is no exception. The most notable error on the 1961 penny is the double die. Obverse error. A double die error happens when the coin's design is struck twice, causing the images to overlap or appear doubled. This can be seen in the Liberty inscription or the date itself. For collectors, this is like finding a needle in a haystack. A double die error makes a coin incredibly unique, and it increases its value exponentially. Imagine holding a penny that was struck twice, creating a coin with an unusual one-of-a-kind design. That kind of rarity is exactly what makes a coin like this so valuable. But there's more. Another variation of the 1961 penny that can be incredibly valuable is the rep punishment mark during the minting process. Some pennies from this year were accidentally struck with a mint mark that was improperly positioned or even repunched. This error isn't as easy to spot as a double die error, but if you have a keen eye and know what to look for, a repunched mint mark penny could be worth a lot more than the one value it originally had. Now I know what you're thinking. That's all well and good, but how much could a 1961 penny possibly be worth? Well, let's get to the exciting part. If you happen to have one of these 1961 1-cent coins with a rare double die error or repunched mint mark, especially one that is in mint or near mint condition, you could be holding on to something incredibly valuable. You might be surprised to learn that the price of a 1961 penny with the right error has been known to reach up to $68,000. That's right, this small coin, which once only had a value of 1 cent, can now fetch a whopping $68,000. If it's the right kind of error coin and in excellent condition. Think about it for a second. A penny that's been sitting in your collection, or even lost in the back of a drawer, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. It's the kind of discovery that makes coin collecting so exciting. Coins like these carry history, rarity, and the potential for a big payoff if you're lucky enough to find one. And as any experienced collector will tell you, the thrill is in the hunt. You never know when you'll stumble upon a hidden treasure like this. So here's a little tip for all the collectors out there. Always keep your eyes peeled for those small details when going through your pennies. The 1961 penny might not look special at first glance, but it could turn out to be a real jackpot. If you find one with the right error, you'll want to check for any doubled features, misaligned strikes, or repunched mint marks. The more you know about these unique traits, the better your chances of spotting something rare. That if you're just getting started in coin collecting, this is the kind of coin that will get you hooked. It's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the history behind the coin, and the satisfaction of adding something incredibly rare to your collection. So, the next time you find a 1961 penny in your pocket change, or while going through your old coin jar, take a moment to carefully inspect it. You might just be holding onto a treasure that's worth a small fortune. You never know what you might find, hidden in the most unexpected places. Top 3. We've got something truly special to talk about. The United States 1-cent coin from 1980. Now you might be thinking it's just a penny, right? Well, let me tell you. This 1-cent coin from 1980 might just be hiding a treasure, worth far more than you ever imagined. Stick with me till the end, and I'll reveal how much this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth. Today, at first glance, the 1980 penny might seem like just another run-of-the-mill coin. After all, it's just 1 cent and it's been circulating for decades, right? But here's where things get interesting. As you dive into the world of coin collecting, you quickly realize that not all pennies are created equal. Some coins like this 1980 penny have stories to tell. Stories of rarity, minting errors, and misprints that turn them into coveted treasures for collectors. And in the case of the 1980 penny, those little details could mean a big payday for the lucky finder. Let's start by talking about the design of this particular coin. The 1981 -1 coin features the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, which has been a staple of US pennies for many years. But the true value of this coin doesn't just lie in its design. It lies in the rarity and errors that occurred during the minting process. And believe me, there were a few rare mistakes made during the production of the 1980 penny that collectors are eager to get their hands on. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1980 penny is the die cracks that sometimes appear on the coins. A die crack happens when the die used to strike the coin begins to crack or break. This can result in a noticeable flaw on the coin's surface. While die cracks are often seen as imperfections, they are extremely rare and can actually increase a coin's value. In the case of the 1980 penny, finding one with a significant die crack can make it a highly desirable piece for collectors, but that's not all. The 1980 penny is also known for having a misplaced mint mark error. This happens when the mint mark, which indicates where the coin was produced, is improperly placed or partially struck. In the case of the 1980 penny, some coins were struck with a mint mark that was misaligned, while others were completely missing their mint mark altogether. This kind of error is incredibly rare and makes a coin stand out from the rest. Collectors actively hunt for these unique pieces, and the more misaligned or off-center the mint mark is, the more valuable the coin becomes. Now here's something truly exciting for all you collectors out there. The 1980 penny is also famous for an incredibly rare and valuable error called the double die reverse. This is where the coin's design on the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial, appears doubled or offset due to the minting process. The effect can be subtle, but to a trained eye it's unmistakable. A double die reverse error can make a 1980 penny worth a small fortune, as this error is highly sought after by numismatists. That is so. Now you're probably wondering, how much could a 1980 penny really be worth? Well, let's talk numbers. A regular 1980 penny is worth just 1 cent, but if you're lucky enough to find a penny with one of these rare errors, whether it's a die crack, misplaced mint mark, or double die reverse error, you could be sitting on something worth a whole lot more than just a single cent. Depending on the condition of the coin and the rarity of the error, some of these coins have been known to fetch thousands of dollars. And here's the jaw-dropping part. If you have an exceptional example of a 1980 penny with one of these rare minting errors, it could be worth as much as $61,000. Yes, that's right, $61,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small and simple could be worth that much, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. There's always the chance that you're holding onto a hidden treasure, and with the 1980 penny that's certainly the case. Imagine this: you're going through your collection of pennies, or checking through your change, and you come across a 1980 penny that's caught your eye. You take a closer look and spot a die crack, or maybe you notice a misplaced mint mark. You've just discovered a rare coin that could potentially be worth thousands. The thrill of the hunt is one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting, and finding a coin like the 1980 penny with an error could completely change your collection and your life. So here's a pro tip for all of you out there looking for rare coins. Always take the time to inspect every penny you come across. Even the most seemingly ordinary coins can turn out to be hidden treasures if you know what to look for. The 1980 penny is a perfect example of how little attention to detail can lead to big rewards in the world of coin collecting. Top 4, we've got something that's going to blow your mind. It's the United States 1-cent coin from 1974. At first glance it may seem like just another penny, but trust me, this particular penny holds some serious potential. You might be sitting on a treasure and not even know it. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll discover exactly why the 1974 1-cent coin is a coin you should be paying attention to, and how much it could be worth today. Now let's take a step back and explore the time when the 1974 penny was minted. The 1970s were a period of change in the United States. From political upheaval to major economic shifts, the country was dealing with rising inflation, the aftermath of the Vietnam War, and the Watergate scandal. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of pennies. But little did anyone know, some of these coins would become rare and highly valuable in the decades to come. Dot 81st, the 1974 penny might seem like any other. It features the iconic Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, two familiar designs that have graced pennies for generations. But here's the catch: while these coins were widely circulated, there were some rare variations and errors in the minting process that have made certain 1974 pennies extremely valuable. One of the main reasons the 1974 penny is sought after by collectors is the presence of the double die error. The The double die error occurs when a coin is struck twice by the die, causing the design to appear doubled. This can happen on the date or even on the Liberty inscription. The result is a noticeable doubling effect, which is easy for a keen-eyed collector to spot. In fact, coins with this error are considered some of the most desirable, and the 1974 penny is no exception. If you have one of these double die 1974 pennies, you might just have a rare gem in your collection. Another feature that adds to the rarity of the 1974 penny is the mint mark variations. Some of the 1974 pennies were struck at different mints, and some of these coins were misplaced or misaligned during the minting process. These errors are subtle but can make the coin even more valuable. Coins with misaligned or repunched mint marks are highly prized by collectors, and finding one of these can add significant value to your collection. But the real intrigue with the 1974 penny doesn't stop there. Another incredibly rare feature to look out for is the 1974 penny. You might be thinking, what makes the 1974 so special? Well, the 1974 penny, minted in San Francisco, was supposed to be part of the proof set, a set of coins that were struck with special care for collectors. However, some of the 1974 pennies from the regular mintage also made their way into circulation. These coins are often harder to find and can command higher prices due to their rarity and unique characteristics. The 1974 penny's minting errors and special variations are what truly elevate its value. A penny that was once worth only 1 cent now has the potential to fetch a small fortune if it has the right combination of characteristics. The world of coin collecting is filled with surprises, and the 1974 1-cent coin is no exception. Whether it's a double die error, a misalignment mark, or a rare 1974 penny, these coins are what collectors are searching for, and what make the hunt for rare coins so exciting. So how much could a 1974 penny really be worth? Well, if you happen to have one of the more rare variants, especially one with a double die error or a misalignment mark, you might just be in luck. Coins in great condition, with the right errors, can go for significantly more than face value, and for the most sought-after versions of the 1974 penny, the value can skyrocket to a staggering $66,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny could be worth $66,000 if you have one of these rare and highly sought-after versions in your collection. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about the coins themselves. It's about the stories, the rarity, and the value that these coins can bring to the right collector. Imagine coming across a 1974 penny with a double die error or an off-center mint mark and realizing you're holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Coin collecting is all about paying attention to those small details. The next time you find a 1974 penny, whether in your change or in a jar of old coins, take a moment to inspect it closely. Look for signs of double design elements. Check the mint mark for any misalignment and see if you have a 1974 penny that might be a hidden treasure. You never know. You could be holding onto something that's not just valuable, but a piece of history that, if you're new to coin collecting, or if you've been collecting for years, the thrill of discovering a rare coin is always there. And who knows, maybe the 1974 penny will be your ticket to an incredible find. So always be on the lookout, because you never know when you might stumble across a coin that's worth far more than its face value. Top 5. We're going to dive into a coin that might be sitting in your collection or even your wallet right now, and it's worth far more than you think. I'm talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1978. At first glance, this penny may look like any other, but believe me, it has some secrets that make it a true gem. In the world of numismatics, the 1978 penny might seem unassuming. It features the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, and on the obverse we have the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been with us since 1909. So why is this particular penny so special? The answer lies in the rarity, errors, and unique characteristics that can make this coin worth a small fortune. If you're into coin collecting, or even if you're just casually curious, you'll definitely want to pay close attention to what makes this coin so valuable. To start, let's talk about the 1978 penny in its most common form. This coin was minted during a time when the country was in the midst of economic change. Inflation was on the rise, and the United States was facing the end of the 1970s oil crisis. These coins were produced in large numbers, and most of them circulated widely because of this. Finding a 1978 penny in anything but circulated condition is already a bit of a rarity, but it gets more interesting when you start talking about the errors and minting inconsistencies that occurred during production point. One of the biggest attractions for collectors is the minting errors that make certain 1978 pennies so valuable. These errors can happen in a variety of ways, but the most common one that increases a penny's value is the double die error. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck twice by the die, which results in a doubled image on the coin. You can see this doubling effect on Liberty, the date, and sometimes even the mint mark. When you spot a double die error on a 1978 penny, it's like finding a hidden treasure, because this kind of mistake is rare and adds considerable value to the coin. Another notable feature of the 1978 penny is the misaligned die error. This happens when the die is not perfectly aligned when striking the coin, resulting in a coin that is off-center or has a crooked design. These misaligned pennies are incredibly rare, and for coin collectors they're like a gold mine. If you happen to find a 1978 penny with a misaligned die, you've just found something highly desirable. This error can drastically increase the value of the coin, especially if it's in great condition. But wait, there's more. A lesser-known error to look out for is the repunch mint mark. This occurs when the mint mark on a coin is punched more than once, often in slightly different positions. On some 1978 pennies, you might see a misplaced or repunched mint mark that gives the coin an entirely unique look. This is another reason why 1978 pennies have become so coveted by collectors. The rarity of these minting flaws makes them highly collectible, and a coin with a punched mint mark could be worth far more than just 1 cent. The 1978 penny is also a coin that has piqued the interest of collectors because of its historical significance. It was produced in a year when the U.S. was navigating through some turbulent times, both economically and politically. These coins were used in everyday transactions, but over time they become increasingly rare due to wear and tear. Finding one in mint condition is a treat, and finding one with a minting error is like striking gold. Now let's talk about the value of the 1978 penny. While a regular 1978 penny in average condition is only worth 1 cent, the value of a coin with rare errors can skyrocket. If you have a double die error penny, a misaligned die penny, or one with a repunched mint mark, you could be sitting on a coin that's worth thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. And when you start talking about coins in exceptional condition, those prices can go even higher. In fact, one of the rarest and most valuable 1978 pennies has been known to sell for a whopping $60,000. Yes, that's right, $60,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that a coin as simple as a penny can be worth so much. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's all about spotting the right rarities and errors that set certain coins apart from the rest. The 1978 penny is just one example of how attention to detail can make you a fortune. Whether it's a double die error, a misaligned die, or a repunched mint mark, these little details are what turn an ordinary penny into a rare treasure. So what should you do if you think you found a valuable 1978 penny? First, take a close look at the coin. Examine the date, the Liberty inscription, and the mint mark for any signs of doubling or misalignment. If you spot something unusual, make sure to inspect the coin under magnification to confirm whether it's a legitimate error. If you find a rare version of the 1978 penny, make sure to get it appraised by a professional. You may be holding onto a piece of history that's worth much more than its face value. Remember, coin collecting is all about patience, research, and a little bit of luck. The thrill of discovering a rare coin is like no other, and the 1978 penny is a perfect example of why. Coin collectors continue to search through their collections and change, hoping to find that next big treasure. Top 6. We have something truly special to talk about. The United States 1-cent coin from 1975. At first glance, this might look like just another penny, but if you look closer, you'll realize that this coin holds the potential for a serious jackpot. Yes, you heard that right. This little coin could be worth way more than its face value, and I'm about to show you why. The 1975 penny was minted at a time when the United States was in the midst of economic and political change. The country was recovering from the effects of the Vietnam War and dealing with the oil crisis that was driving inflation through the roof. It was a time of uncertainty and change, but the penny, just like always, continued to be circulated in everyday transactions. Little did anyone know, though, that certain 1975 pennies would become treasures, sought after by collectors all around the world. Now let's talk about what makes the 1975 penny stand out. To the untrained eye, it might seem like just another Lincoln Memorial penny, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but that's just the surface. What makes this coin truly valuable lies in its rarity and the errors that occur during its minting process. One of the main factors that contribute to the 1975 penny's value is the double die error. The double die error happens when a coin is struck more than once by the die, and as a result you get a doubling effect on the coin's design. This can be seen in the date, the Liberty inscription, and sometimes even on "In God We Trust." The doubling effect is often subtle but noticeable. If you know what you're looking for, a double die 1975 penny is a prized find, because it's a mistake that wasn't caught by the mint at the time of production, and it's incredibly rare. Coins with this kind of error are in high demand among collectors, and they can fetch a significant price, depending on the severity of the doubling. Another key feature of the 1975 penny that collectors look for is the misaligned die error. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin is out of alignment with the planchet, causing the design to be shifted or misprinted. Misaligned dies can create coins with off-center designs or crooked images, and these coins are often considered a unique piece of minting history. For coin collectors, owning a misaligned die 1975 penny can be an exciting and valuable discovery, as these coins are rare and very much sought after by enthusiasts. That there's also the possibility of finding a 1975 penny with a rep punishment mark. This happens when the mint mark, whether it's AD for Denver or an S for San Francisco, is struck multiple times in slightly different positions. A repunch mint mark can be subtle, but it adds a layer of intrigue to the coin. Collectors love these small errors because they make a coin more unique and give it a bit of a backstory. Finding a 1975 penny with a repunch mint mark could significantly increase its value. The 1975 penny also carries a bit of historical significance. It was minted during a pivotal time in the US, and it serves as a reminder of an era when inflation was on the rise, and the country was trying to navigate through challenging economic conditions. These pennies were made in large quantities, but many have long since worn out from being in circulation. That's why finding a 1975 penny in great condition is already a special find, and if you happen to have one with a minting error, it's worth even more done. So let's talk about the value of the 1975 penny. Most 1975 pennies you come across will be worth only their face value, or perhaps a little more if they're in good condition. However, if you're lucky enough to find one with a double die error, a misaligned die, or a rep punch mint mark, the value can skyrocket. Coins with these kinds of mistakes can fetch thousands of dollars at auction, depending on the error and the condition of the coin that I. In fact, some of the most valuable 1975 pennies have sold for as much as $58,000. That's right, $58,000 for a single penny. It's mind-blowing to think that something so small and seemingly insignificant could hold such incredible value. But that's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. You never know what treasures you might find hidden in your change jar or in the bottom of an old coin collection. That if you're wondering how you can identify a rare and valuable 1975 penny, the best way to start is by closely examining the design elements. Look for any signs of doubling, especially on the date or Liberty. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to help spot those subtle errors that make the coin special. Check the mint mark for any signs of misalignment or repunching, and inspect the overall condition of the coin. A well-preserved penny with the right error can be worth far more than you might expect. So, what should you do if you find a 1975 penny with one of these errors? First, take care of it, handle it with care, and keep it in a protective case to preserve its value. Next, it's a good idea to have it appraised by a professional coin grader. They'll be able to give you an accurate assessment of its worth and help you determine whether it's truly a rare and valuable coin. Whether you're an experienced collector or a casual hobbyist, the thrill of finding a rare penny, like the 1975 1-cent coin, is unmatched. Keep searching through your collections. Check your change and pay attention to those subtle details, because you never know when you might find a coin that could be worth $58,000. Top 7 and last unique coin we have a story about. One of the most intriguing and overlooked coins in American history, the United States 1-cent coin from 1981. At first glance it may seem like a simple penny, but there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1981 penny has some secrets that make it incredibly valuable to collectors, and in this video, we're going to reveal why this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a fortune. Let's start by setting the stage. The 1981 penny was produced during a time when the United States was coming out of the 1970s energy crisis and the inflationary period that shook the economy. In 1981, The nation was under the leadership of President Ronald Reagan, and the country was navigating significant economic changes. The mint was producing these pennies in large quantities, and just like any other coin, they circulated widely. Little did people know the 1981 penny would become highly sought after. In the world of numismatics, why is this particular coin so valuable? It all comes down to rarity and errors. The 1981 penny was produced in significant numbers, but not all of them made it through circulation unscathed. Many of these coins were used in everyday transactions, and over time they experienced wear and tear, making it harder to find them in pristine condition today. But that's not all. There are rare errors that can make this coin incredibly valuable. Let's talk about the first key element that makes the 1981 penny stand out: the double die error. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the die, and the design is slightly shifted during each strike. The result is a doubling effect on certain elements of the coin, such as the date, liberty, and even the phrase, "In God We Trust." These errors are subtle but noticeable if you know what to look for. If you have a 1981 penny with a double die error, it can be worth far more than its face value. This error is rare, and collectors who specialize in error coins are constantly on the lookout for them. Finding one of these rare coins can be a game changer for any collector, and it's one of the main reasons the 1981 penny is so desirable. Another important error to look for on the 1981 penny is the misaligned die error. This happens when the die that strikes the coin is not perfectly aligned with the planchet. The result: a coin that has an off-center design or appears to be misstrick. Misaligned die errors are not only fascinating, but they're also highly collectible. If you find a 1981 penny with a misaligned die, you've got a unique piece of history that could be worth a significant amount of money. These kinds of errors are extremely rare, making any misaligned 1981 penny a potential gold mine for collectors. There's also the possibility of finding a 1981 penny with a rep punishment mark. If the mint mark was struck more than once in slightly different positions, you've got yourself a repunch mint mark error. This may not be as common as some other errors, but it's still highly sought after by collectors, especially those who specialize in mint mark variations. A 1981 penny with a rep punch mint mark is a truly unique find, and can significantly increase the value of the coin. The 1981 penny also has some historical significance. It was made in a year when the U.S. was transitioning politically and economically. The penny features the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which was used on the penny for many years, before it was replaced by the Union Shield design in 2010. These historical elements, combined with the minting errors, make the 1981 penny a fascinating collectible. It's more than just a coin, it's a snapshot of American history, and that's something that makes it even more valuable to collectors. So how much is the 1981 penny worth? Well, most of the 1981 pennies you come across will be worth only their face value of one. However, if you happen to find a 1981 penny with one of the rare errors we've talked about, whether it's a double die error, a misaligned die, or a rep punch mint mark, you could be sitting on a coin that is worth significantly more. In fact, some of the rarest 1981 pennies have been sold for as much as $48,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $48,000 for a single penny. It's incredible, but it just goes to show the kind of value that errors and rarities can bring to a coin. Now you may be wondering, how can I identify a valuable 1981 penny? The key is to examine the details closely. Look for any signs of doubling in the date or liberty. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to help you spot these subtle errors. Don't forget to check the mint mark for any signs of misalignment or repunch mint marks. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it will be. So make sure to handle any potential valuable coins with care. If you do come across a 1981 penny that seems to have one of these rare errors, don't just let it sit in your drawer. Have it appraised by a professional coin grader. They'll be able to give you a true assessment of its value and let you know if you've stumbled upon a rare treasure. If your coin turns out to be a valuable error penny, you could be looking at a substantial return on your investment. Coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out, the excitement of finding a rare and valuable coin like the 1981 penny is unmatched. So keep searching through your coins, because you never know when you might find a hidden gem that could be worth $48,000. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay updated on all our future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Keep your eyes open. You just might find your next big treasure hiding in your pocket. Change.